Are we all going to die? Who knows? Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, welcome back. Today, we're going to be trying something a little bit different today. We're going to be playing Agatha Christie and Then There Were None, based on the book of the same name. Now, you're thinking, this might be a little bit of a bizarre choice. So yeah, the game was released in 2005 and on PC, and then made its way to the Wii in 2008. Now, the reason I've been wanting to play this is because I've recently completed a community theatre production of this play. I played Dr. Armstrong, and I realised I bought this game years ago, and it's been sitting in my Steam library practically unplayed. So I thought, you know what? As a little treat for completing the performance, I thought, you know what? Why don't I play this game on stream? Now, I'm not expecting to finish it. I'm only allocating a couple of streams for it, and where that'll go from there remains to be seen. But yeah, I played Dr. Armstrong in this one. Now, if you don't know the story of it, Then There Were None, basically, 10 people are summoned to an island, and they are met with accusations of things they've done in the past being dug up, and it culminates in them being slowly picked off one by one. It's a classic murder mystery, whodunit, that kind of thing. One thing I will say, not that I'm expecting anybody to, I'm aware this story had two different names earlier on when it first came out, both of which are rather racially questionable, so yeah, so I would prefer not to use the original name. I would say please don't use the original names in the Twitch chat. I don't think the game's going to use them, because I know part of the story involves a old nursery rhyme that different adaptations have changed, and the game's changed it again, so I don't think it's going to use any of it in this game either, so we should be alright on that front. Yeah, so as I said, it's a point-and-click adventure game. You know the rule with this by now. Take everything that's not nailed down, and if it is nailed down, try and solve the puzzle to unpick it. So, again, I'm not gonna expect to finish this, but I will allocate a couple of streams, and then we'll take it from there if we decide to play more of it. So let's just scooch on over here. I need to wake the game up. Bear with me. There we go. And I need to turn the sound back up because I turned the sound down for streaming while the intro was going. Actually, that might be okay for volume level. Effects. Now, I have played the first chapter a bit of the first chapter of this to test it, so I do know at least a little bit of what to do. So, what we're going to do, so let's just start it. Also, this game does take some liberties from the original story, as will become apparent quite quickly. the butler did it. Shh.
Madam, were it in my power to sentence him to 30 days hard labor, they would not disturb me in the slightest.
Hey!
Smashing day for it. On holiday?
No.
Okay, I suppose that's the end of that then.
No, Leslie. It isn't true. Oh, beg pardon, ma'am.
Miss.
Yes, of course.
Myth.
Have to be, wouldn't it?
Who's this? Oh, I know who this is. Cheeky.
Damn fool. I suppose I'll be expected to tend to his wounds after he piles up, and I don't feel at that.
And yes, I do have subtitles on, but they're just not in the FMV for some reason.
No one injured, at least. No apparent damage to the cars. Young fool must lead a charmed life.
Aha.
That's the lot.
That's our party.
My money's on the servants. The servant's usually always the guilty one in the end.
Welcome to Sticklehaven, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Davis, the Harbour Master.
Sorry. Waiting for me.
That's everyone then. The other bags are already on board the boat there.
Who are you?
Blimey. It must be him. In the flesh.
All set, Narracot.
Ready, sir.
Right, I'll leave it to you then. Sea's calm. Should be a pleasant crossing. If you leave now, there's a squall coming. I can smell it.
A 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour.
Why is it called Shipwreck Island?
Well, the weather can turn nasty quickly. There are many submerged rocks, lots of wrecks hereabouts, and that big rock at the tip is said to resemble a beached schooner. The locals call it Ship Rock.
You're not from around these parts, then, Mr. Narracot?
No, sir, I'm not.
Yeah, this came out in 2005, but this feels like more like a 90s game,
It
visually.
will never work.
If you would be so good as to follow that path up to the house, my wife will show you to your rooms. I expect you'd all like to freshen up after your journey.
Where's Fred? Under the weather. I took his place.
You'd be the brother then. I see the resemblance. Will you help me with the bags?
Yes. I've been hoping to get a look at the house.
Right off the bat is going to be the first difference in the story.
Chapter 1. 10 little sailor boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9.
Interesting.
Thank you for your assistance, Mr. Narracot. Everything and everyone nicely in place. I must say, I don't much like these clouds. I expect you should be heading back without delay.
Oh yeah, certainly. Okay, so yeah, right off...
Now it begins. Don't worry, Fred. I won't let you down.
Alright, so right off the bat...
Just a drizzle. It's going to get much worse.
Can I finish now? Okay. Right, so right off the bat immediately, you will notice the character we're playing as isn't in the original story. Now, there was somebody called Fred Narracot who delivered the passengers to the island. But we're playing as his brother. I don't remember his first name, actually. But yeah, the Narracot has a brother to play as. So our first guest, Henry Bloor, he was the man who framed my brother, I'm certain of it. So he's a detective, which we'll find out more about him as we progress further. Let's go down this way. I believe I need to go that way first. Yeah, it's just a point and click. Literally all you need is the mouse. Hi.
Narracot, you gave me quite a turn.
Taking a stroll, Mr. Marston.
Just a short constitutional before dressing for dinner.
This storm's closing in. This drizzle's about to turn ugly.
That storm's closing in. This drizzle's about to turn ugly.
Yes, looks beastly.
Oh, I've just realised, you know what? You can't see the dialogue options. Give me a moment. trying to see if I can adjust this a little bit. You could say it's oncoming, I know, right? Right, let's try this way and see if it works like that. Yeah, that's better. That's better. You got dialogue choices, but given this is an adventure game. See if that fits that way. That'll do. That'll do. Oh, actually, Oncoming Storm, while you're here, I'll give you a shout out. I realised I just realised I didn't before. Oh, there we go. Alright, so... what's that you're carrying? Because he was carrying something sus, wasn't he?
What's that you're carrying?
This? Just some paper and string I found on the beach. Roger seems like a tartar for order and cleanliness. Thought I'd help out.
Terribly nice of you.
Well, I'm heading to the house. If I were you, I'd do the same. Won't do to get caught out here when the brunt of this storm hits.
I'll be along directly, Mr. Marston.
Yes, yes, of course, old boy. Whatever you say.
Jolly good show, old chap. Yeah, so this is Anthony Marston. I keep wanting to call him Antonia Marston because our production, what we did, we actually changed the, Marston's gender. So I keep wanting to call him Antonia, but that's just me.
That was rather odd behavior.
Okay, yeah, that'll do. That'll do for setup wise. Hey, Vinny. Oh, all the cute emotes. Okay.
I should return to my boat to retrieve some supplies before I begin any real investigating.
Right, let's go down this way then. And then we need to go down this way. Down here. Oh, what's happened to the boat?
Someone wrecked my boat. Fred won't be too happy about this.
I mean, yeah, boats are expensive, you know.
Damn thing's wrecked. No chance of returning to the mainland now.
Somebody's wrecked our boat. This is sus. Right, go back up to the house.
I can see the jetty from here.
Yeah?
I can see the jetty from here.
Yeah, we've been to the jetty, don't worry.
I should tell Rogers about my little boat misfortune.
Right, before...
I should tell Rogers about my little boat
I
misfortune.
can't go that way anyway. Let's go.
Mr. Narracott, why are you still on the island?
Someone scuttled my boat.
Scuttled? Wrecked, you mean? But who on earth would do such a thing?
I intend to find out.
They cost
But
a
that means
boatload of
who
cash.
will come for us on Monday?
Unless this storm lets up, no one.
Dear me, dear me. Come in, come in. You'll catch your death out here.
Of course.
I must help my wife prepare dinner. I'll have her fix you up something in the kitchen.
Thank you.
That'd be lovely, Rogers. So there's Rogers, one of
Where
the...
he's going to sleep, I'll never know. Ethel won't like this one bit.
Yeah, well, I'll leave you to work that out. Actually, let's take that. You know, adventure game rules, take everything that's not nailed down. Alright, go upstairs. Knock, knock. Oh. Can we examine the toilet? No, I don't need to go outside. Right, we have our inventory. Alright, we're in somebody's room. Oh, what's this? So this is Dr. Armstrong's letter of invitation. Now, for files like this, what the game expects you to do is click this and drag it over to the magnifying glass here.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Okay, let's have a quick look. Armstrong's letter. Dear Dr. Armstrong, you come highly recommended to me by your esteemed colleague, Dr. William Weathersby of Harley Street. I have a great favour to ask. My wife's health appears to be deteriorating. She has for many years now been plagued by arthritis of a very severe sort, and more recently have observed short bouts of uncontrollable muscle spasms I am unable to explain. Yet she won't hear of seeing a doctor. I was very much hoping you could join a little weekend house party we have planned for August 8th at our home on Shipwreck Island, or Soldier Island, in South Devon. If you are amenable, a boat will call for you at Sticklehaven to ferry you to a short distance to our little hideaway. Please accept the enclosed cheque of £200 as a small additional retainer. I know you will be able to help her. I know your efforts will not go unrewarded. Sincerely, UN Owen. Interesting. Now, I remember one line in the play where it says a colleague's name was mentioned. Doesn't seem to be mentioning any sort of colleague here. What's this?
Nothing out of order in here. I'd best not take anything, though. I'm sure he would notice.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because who knows what's in that doctor's bag. Let's have a look what's in here. What is this? Okay, so we've got another letter of invitation. Click that.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Let's have a look. Blaw's letter. Mr. Henry Blaw, as an ex-CID man and now private detective, you come highly recommended to me. It's my wife's jewels, you see. She simply won't keep them locked in the safe. And this house party we have coming up has got me worried, I can tell you. Your instructions are as follows. Join the house party my wife and I are giving the weekend of August 8th on Shipwreck Island off Sticklehaven. Pose as a guest to keep your eye on the other guests. Dr. Edward Armstrong, a Harley Street man, quite well thought of, I believe. Emily Brent, a spinster lady of strong moral beliefs. Vera Claythorne, my wife's new secretary. Philip Lombard, something of an adventurer, I believe. General Mackenzie, a retired military man. Anthony Marston, the sportsman, younger son of a minor dukedom, a long way of any worthwhile title or of any worthwhile occupation from the sound of him. Judge Wargrave, a recently retired, supposed to be an absolute tyrant in the courtroom. A rum lot, if you ask me, but they are my wife's guests, so I am stuck with them. There's also a butler and housekeeper by the name of Thomas and Ethel Rogers. We hired them through the Regina agency in Plymouth. They seem trustworthy enough, but who knows? 3. Keep an eye on them all, and the jewels I'm sure my wife will have on the display at every possible opportunity. I've enclosed what I understand is your standard retainer. If the weekend goes without incident, there will be a sizable bonus as well. Yours truly, Ulrich Norman Owen. Right, how do I close the inventory? There we go. What happens if we take that book? Oh, hi!
Once a bent copper, always a bent copper. Right, Fred?
You're talking through your hat. You were the Purcell gang's inside man on the force, not my brother.
Your brother? Don't try to kid me, Fred. There's still a handsome reward out for you.
Fred is my brother. I'm Patrick Fane.
No reason for me to believe you that I can see. There's still a big reward out for Fred Fane.
You scuttled my boat to trap me here.
You recognized me, too. I saw it in your eyes.
Wow, Blaw's a
Only
knob
because
in this
Davis
version.
showed Fred the passenger list yesterday. I came in my brother's place. We didn't think you might mistake me for him. Fred is 8 years older than me. Look closely, Blaw.
You do look young. I noticed that. Thought it must be the sea air.
You were taking the Purcells' bribes for years. After the Landor case, people began to ask questions. The Purcells needed what the Yank detective novels call a fall guy. My brother was framed. You were in the clear.
Your whole story sounds like a detective novel.
I've never stopped trying to clear Fred's name and put you in Dartmoor prison where you belong. Thanks to your greed, I may now have that chance.
Maybe you're Patrick, maybe you're Fred. I don't know, and I don't much care. You're either a criminal, or you've been harboring one all these years. I wonder what my fellow guests will think of that. Go on, Mr. Narracott. Hop it. I need to prepare for dinner.
Okay, we'll be back. We will be back. Right, okay, so... have we been in there yet?
It's locked fast.
Okay, that'll be a no then. That's the bathroom if
I can't open it. It's locked.
Okay, maybe not. That's not there.
Locked.
That's also locked. Knock, knock.
My wife is indisposed, not receiving visitors today.
Your wife, sir?
What?
Your wife?
My wife? Yes. Leslie. I'm sorry, my boy. I was wool gathering, miles away. My apologies. Must dress for dinner now. Send my orderly to me if you will. No, that's not right. What was I thinking? I must get ready for dinner now.
Oh, poor... That's General Mackenzie. I feel bad for him.
Yes? Oh, Mr. Narracott, I had a question for you. Have you heard anything in Sticklehaven about this house being set up as a guest house?
No, Miss Brent.
No. Mrs. Rogers hasn't either. And who are the Owens?
I haven't met them yet.
Would it surprise you to learn neither have Mr. and Mrs. Rogers? It's odd. Very odd. If you'll excuse me, Mr. Narracott, I must make dinner preparations.
The plot thickens. So they don't know who this Mr. Owen is. Or Mrs. Owen.
Oh, Mr. Narracott, I thought that you'd left us.
Someone scuttled my boat.
Oh, but that's dreadful. Surely the harbour master will send another boat when you're missed.
Not in this storm, I'm afraid. And even then, it won't be reported.
Why ever not?
My brother. He knew I might not be immediately back.
I'm terribly sorry for your trouble.
Uh-huh.
The Owens should be arriving shortly. I'm sure you can get a ride back in that boat. If you'll excuse me, I must get ready for dinner.
Okay. Oh, actually, we can peek in here. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look-see. What? You have a gun, mister? Uh-huh. And you have a revolver. Why? Knock, knock.
Narracott? I thought you'd be long gone by now. That storm's getting pretty fierce.
Somebody scuttled my boat.
I saw Blore watching you like a hawk eyes its dinner. Could it have been him?
Possibly.
Any idea why?
I'd rather not say.
Suit yourself. I'd better get ready for dinner.
Okay. Also, actually, before we continue, I actually took the feedback on board from yesterday about the quote system. Turns out I do already have one set up, I just completely forgot about it. So if you go ! Quote add, I can, and then whatever stupid thing I said. And if you look at existing quotes, there's at least one quote in there already. ! Quote will give you the quotes as well. So I do have one, I just forgot about it. I think that was set up before I changed computers. I think we've been in here already. Oh yeah, this is Blore's room. Been in Armstrong's room already. I think this is everybody. I think we've done every door up here.
I can't open it. It's locked.
I think. Oh, I can peek in here. What's Mackenzie up to? Something wholesome, I guess. Okay. I'm sure there is one other room
I'll be down for dinner in a few minutes.
I'm sure there is one other room we haven't looked at yet. It's not this one. Try going through there.
I can't open it. It's locked.
Okay, alright, no worries. How many letters of invitation do we actually have? So we only have 2 so far. The butler seems like an efficient chap. He caught me trying to take a peek at his notebook. Can't have me improve my standing with him, although I think he held me in fairly low esteem to begin with. Anthony Marston, a young reckless fool. Luckily, there aren't any roads on the island. I found him wandering the island, acting a mite suspicious. Okay. Let's have a look in here.
The door is locked. An upstairs-downstairs type of thing, I imagine.
Yeah, that one's locked. Yeah, the camera angles aren't great. They're very Resident Evil-like. Alright, let's have a quick look in here. There's... actually. Alright, nothing of note here. Unlock the door.
It'll never work, I tell you. We should never have agreed. A house party only a week after we arrive? And no other help?
Ethel, calm yourself.
You promised me. Never again, you said.
How was I to know? Oh,
hi.
Mr. Narracott. Ethel will be preparing you a meal in here once the guests are served.
Okay, fine. Just, you don't mind if I swipe that, do you? Let's go in here. Take some things that aren't...
I don't need to lug this around with me.
No, but you need that, though. Oh.
I don't need it. And I'm no pack rat.
There was something else in here you do need, though. That. Cheese wheel covered in cheesecloth. Brute basket made of copper wire, turkey baster, large metal scoop.
It's a full sack of flour.
What happens if I scoop that? Some flour. And what happens if I do it again?
There are some batteries buried under here.
As I say, I did play a little bit of the first chapter while I was testing this, so I do know something.
To go out in that storm now would be reckless and foolhardy.
Hi, Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, I was wondering if I might have a word.
Perhaps you'd find one of the guests with more free time to chat. None of them are doing any work.
Oh, very well, very well. Okay, so maybe the room I was trying to get into before might be open now, because that did involve Mrs. Rogers.
I can't open it. It's locked.
Not that one. Gotta be one of these.
It's locked fast.
Not that one. So many doors. Ah, this is the one I wanted. Hi.
Would you just look at all these silk sheets? All embroidered GS. I'll bet that was that actress who used to live here. But I've dropped them on this filthy floor.
Can I give you a hand?
Can I give you a hand, Mrs. Rogers?
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. You seem like a good sort. I'm sorry for your boat.
Right, have I took any of that? No.
I can't stop to talk. Too much to do.
Okay, so I don't think we can do much more at the moment upstairs, so let's go back downstairs. There is one other place I do need to check out.
You're shot, Judge.
Yes. You haven't left me much, I confess.
I knew judges listened to confessions. I never knew they made them as well.
Oh, some judges may have cause. Some doctors as well, I expect.
That sounds like the dinner bell.
Mr. Narracott, unfortunately, we are not prepared for your presence at dinner. I would be most happy to deliver you a sandwich later this evening, if that will do.
That will be fine, Rogers.
I mean, yeah?
Now, if you will excuse me, I must get to serving.
I mean, do we have
By all
fast food
means.
in the 30s? I have no idea. I know. Order a Deliveroo or
I can hear
something.
them all in the dining room chattering. I can't quite make out what they're saying. This might be a good time to explore the house more thoroughly.
First, let's take a little tiny peek into what they're doing.
Aha! With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Wine, Doctor?
No, thank you, Rogers. I never touch alcohol. Except for sterilizing wounds or instruments, of course.
I tried to collect some apples from an orchard on the island, but a bee stung me. I'm afraid I dropped the basket and ran. No need to apologize. I myself am dreadfully allergic to bees, wasps, hornets. I'm sorry to hear there are bees here.
Oh, you must take care. There's all sorts of those bee house things. What do you call it?
Beehives?
An apiary.
Oh.
Oh, I thought that was for monkeys.
Ethel!
Miss Claythorne, we've never met, but I do seem to recall your name.
Oh?
Yes, from when I stayed at that stuffy old hotel near St. Trednick. Do you know it?
No. No, I don't think so.
Really? How extraordinary. I was so sure.
Narracott says he's not Fred Fane, but his brother. It may well be, but he bears watching.
Seems like such a nice man.
They said the same thing about Stevenson, the child murderer. I confess I've never met our host, Mr. Owen. What kind of a man is he? Rogers?
We haven't seen the Owens either, sir. We were only engaged a week ago by letter and asked to make the house ready.
So no one has actually met the Owens.
How extraordinary.
I, for one, will have some sharp questions for the Owens when they do arrive.
Okay, so let's have a little wander around the house before we go back there, because we are going to have to listen into them at least one more time. So let's go upstairs, because there were certain rooms we couldn't access before. Oh, yeah, actually.
These are very expensive linens. I bet they're very strong.
Let's grab one. I hope people's Thursday evenings are going well. I've been chilling, got the window open, slightly cold, but you know what, I'm liking the breeze. Okay, whose room is this? Okay. Oh, I think I know whose this is. Okay, this is Emily Brent's letter.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Right, let's have a look what it says in the notebook about it. Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. We were together at Belhaven Guest House in August some years ago. We seem to have so much in common. I'm starting a guest house on my own on an island off the coast of Devon. I think there is really an opening for a place where there's good fat plain cooking and a nice old-fashioned type of person. None of this nudie or gramophones half the night. And I shall be very glad if you could see your way to spending your summer holiday on Shipwreck Island. Quite free as my guess. Would early in August suit you? Perhaps the 8th? Yours sincerely, UN Owen. Let's take a peek.
This is quite a makeup supply. Emily must be more concerned with aging than she lets on.
Aha. Okay, what is that? I'm not going to be going this fast to the later parts of the game because I didn't get too far in. We've got a Bible. Go in there. Whose is this? Oh, this is the general's room.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Alright, let's see what this one says. My dear General Mackenzie, I'm giving a little house party here on Shipwreck Island on the 8th of August. A couple of your old cronies are coming. Spoof, Leggard, and Johnny Dyer. They suggested I invite you as well. They mentioned they would love to have a talk with you about your days together during the Great War. Finally, something about finally clearing the air, owing you an apology. None of my business, of course, but they especially wanted me to add that last bit. Beyond that, the weather is lovely at this time of year. I'm sure I can promise you a relaxing and entertaining weekend. By the by, if you've heard the rumours, they're true. The island was used by the Admiralty before we bought it. All very hush-hush. Spoof and Johnny may know more. Take the train to Oak Bridge and the car will meet you there. Very truly yours, UN Owen. Right, okay. Is there anything else in here before I go? I don't think so, anyway. Ooh, look at the picture.
It appears to be a portrait of the general. Must be quite old. He's standing with a very young woman. It's signed, "To John, my husband, Leslie."
Oh.
It appears to be a portrait of the general.
I know this. Thank you.
Must be quite old. He's standing with a very young woman. It's signed, "To John, my husband, Leslie."
Right, okay, let's get out.
A radiator. You can't have enough of them, really.
No, I guess not.
It's a rather bland landscape.
Let's go this way. There's a bathroom. Anything here I can grab?
I see nothing remarkable.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Alright, who's this? A coded message.
This could use a closer look.
0106 7219 8429. I don't think I solved this. Telegram of invitation.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Tony, get your dinner jacket and polish your shoes. I've nosed out an invitation for us at August 8th weekend. The Owens, you don't know them. New money, I'm afraid. But they do well in drinks and dinner, and there's usually a few sweet young things about to spice up the scenery. You can try out the new motor of yours winding down the lanes of Devon. I'll be along later. If you don't pile up again, get thee to Sticklehaven. Just head south until you hit water. Boat will be waiting. Your never humble servant, Badger Berkeley. I don't know what accent I was going for there. What's this? Can I actually examine this? No. I don't think so, anyway. Oh, what's that? Code-breaking cipher.
Let me examine this further.
King James, Song of Solomon III. Okay. Whose letters do we have? So we have Armstrong, Mackenzie, Brent, Blore, and Marston. So we need Rogers probably, don't we? Right, go that way. Actually, where does that door lead? Oh no, we were back here, weren't we? Let's have a look down this way. I'm not going to go in the kitchen just yet. What's in the drawer? Nope. No, no, no. A letter for Rogers.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Rogers. Mrs. Owen and I will be detained in London this evening. Please do your the best you can in our absence. My good lady tells me she wanted the roast dinner with potatoes and vegetables and the treacle tart for dessert. You'll find everything you need in the pantry, then serve drinks afterwards in the front parlour. You already have the gramophone record. Please play the side labelled Hello once everyone is comfortably settled in the parlour. We will be along as soon as possible. Ulrich Norman Owen. Sus. Alright, what's this one? Roger's letter of invitation.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roger's letter. Rogers, Mrs. Owen and I will be giving a little house party this weekend. Only 8 guests. I'm sure you'll manage. The larder is well stocked, and this crowd shouldn't give too much trouble. We'll arrive early Friday so that Mrs. Owen can draw up a suitable menu. Hang on to the accompanying package for me. It's a gramophone record. I want to play it for my guests. Okay. Right, anything else? Small packet of sewing needles. So who else do we need? Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's still a few letters missing. Go back. No other doors I can go through there, but that's okay. Okay, this is different. Oh, actually, I know what we can also get. Oh, Wargrave's the one I'm looking for.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
And I also need Lombards and Vera's as well. Dearest Lawrence, it's been years since I've heard anything of you. I'm back in England and have just purchased a marvellously odd, thoroughly modern home on Shipwreck Island off South Devon. You must come for the weekend. It's an enchanting place and we have so much to catch up on. The old days communing with nature, although of course that's always been more in my line. Get out of that stuffy flat and come bask in the sunshine with me. And a few other amusing guests the weekend of August 8th. You can take the 12:40 from Paddington, change at Plymouth for Oakbridge. A car will meet you there. I won't take no for an answer. Yours ever, Constance Colmington.
It's a marble sculpture of an elephant.
Okay. We'll take his pipe. I don't know what we're going to need it for. Oh, actually, before we do anything...
It would certainly be noticed if I rifled through his luggage. I better not.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
I find this painting particularly bland.
Oh, nothing gets past you, does it, Patrick? Right, okay. Well, who else am I looking for? No, I think we've been in... Wait, no, this is Blaw's room, isn't it? Oh yeah, I can get his notebook.
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
Okay, alright. So we're building up a lot of notes already. Blaw's notebook. Dr. Armstrong, Emily Brent, Vera Claythorne, Philip Lombard, General Mackenzie, CMG DSO, Anthony Marston, Justice Wargrave, Manservant and Wife, Mr. and Mrs. Rogers, Dr. Edward Armstrong, flourishing practice in Harley Street, rumour of some misstep early in his career, but now highly regarded by colleagues and patients, very well to do, unlikely jewel thief. Emily Brent, spinster with enough private means to keep her comfortable, makes frequent pilgrimages to various watering holes, stays in moderate accommodation, some scandal attached to one of their former serving girls, but the old lady is clean, long shot to be a jewel thief. Vera Claythorne, former governess until the charge died in her care, unsuccessful trying to find teaching position, hired as Mrs. Owen's secretary, hard up enough that she might have sticky fingers around her employer's possessions. Bears watching. Philip Lombard, checkered army career, something of a mercenary, enjoys living higher than he can afford. Probably wouldn't hesitate at a bit of larceny if the opportunity presented itself. General John Mackenzie, long retired, distinguished army record, but some rumours concerning his wife and a young officer who later died in action in the Great War. Wife also deceased. Not my first choice for a thief, though you can never tell when the old one's mind start to go. Aha. Anthony Marston, rich brat, old family, youngest son, no titles or estates in his future, playboy, right-wing politics, never see him in the trenches if it comes to war with Germany again. Might steal on a bet, I suppose. Aha. Right, okay. Justice Lawrence Wargrave, distinguished jurist, ruled his court like a private fiefdom? Is that right? Respected but not liked by colleagues, sent more than a few villains to the gallows. Not a man to get on the wrong side of. If he's a jewel thief, I'll eat my hat. Thomas and Ethel Rogers, former employer, died. Inquest was a bit rough on them, but their inheritance wasn't much, so no charges brought. Most likely suspects if jewels go missing. New servants, big temptation, particularly if their expectations were higher before this other employer died. August 8th, 4 PM. I come down here for do a bit of work, and who I find running the bleeding boat? Fred Narracott. I don't think he recognised me. We only saw each other a couple of times when we were on the force together, before his little trouble. Deal with the warrant for his arrest and that tidy reward too. I'll have to trap him here on the island where I can keep an eye on him. He may even be an accomplice in the planned theft. They won't be getting away with any jewels while I'm on the job. First things first, need to put that boat out of commission before he finishes bringing up the bags. Okay, so it was Blore that trapped us here. Something tells me that he may live to regret that. Or not. Who knows? Right, that's Armstrong's room probably, isn't it? Yes. So I need at least 2 more letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that'll probably cover him and Mrs. Rogers. So I just need Vera's and Lombard's. I think this is Lombard's room.
I guess Owen made sure no clocks in the house are working. This one is stopped.
So no clocks are working. Sus. What is that?
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Okay, let's have a look at Lombard's letter. Captain Lombard, let this serve as a formal agreement between us. As I mentioned by telephone, it is understood by my client that you are a resourceful man in a tight place, as you proved several years ago in East Africa, and more than a few times elsewhere in various other corners of the world. You may rest assured my client knows your accomplishments very well. I am empowered to pay you the enclosed 100 guineas, in return for which you will travel to Sticklehaven, Devon on August 8th, where a motor launch will convey you to Shipwreck Island. There you will hold yourself at the disposal of my client for not more than 1 week. Sincerely, Archibald Morris, Solicitor. Gray's Inn. Can we pick that up? No. I thought that would be something you can pick up, but evidently not. We can look out here. Does it go anywhere, though? Oh, what's that?
Perhaps another time.
Okay, well, I didn't know you could take this, but okay, that might be something to keep hold of. Right, okay. So I think we have every... Oh, wait, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Grab that. Oh, wait, we have Vera's letter.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Where is she? There we go. Dear Miss Claythorne, I have received your name from the Skilled Women's Agency, together with their recommendation. I understand they know you personally. I shall be glad to pay you the salary that you ask, and shall expect you to take up your duties as my secretary on August 8th. The train is the 12:40 from Paddington, and you will be met at Oak Bridge Station. I enclose £5 notes for expenses. Yours truly, Una Nancy Owen. Okay, I think we have everything now that we... So let's go and listen in some more. Right, we go back to the kitchen. No, wait, no, not the dining room. That's not, No, wait, no, the dining room's are double doors, isn't it? Let's go this way then. Ah, there we go. Let me make sure there's nothing here I can't pick up anyway.
The refrigerator hardly seems large enough for a house of this size.
Oh, come on, raid it. Give yourself something to eat.
Aha! With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Did anyone else see the poem over the fireplace?
10 little sailor boys. Yes, I saw it.
And here before us as the centerpiece of our table are the 10 little sailor boys themselves, all looking correct and polished.
I like a neat and tidy house, Your Honor.
Robson, the man who built this house, was a sailor. Perhaps Mr. Owen inherited them from him.
Another question for Mr. Owen.
As I remember, the rhyme was about soldier boys. Highly inappropriate, as I recall.
There are many variations.
You seem to know quite a bit about it, Miss Claythorne.
I was a governess before seeking secretarial work. Governesses spend a lot of time with nursery rhymes.
All gratuitously gruesome, if you ask me. So much violence in the world today.
Sometimes violence is necessary, Miss Brent.
There speaks a soldier for you.
A realist, Miss Brent, not a dreamer. If action needs to be taken, I, for one, am fully prepared to take it.
How does the famous rhyme go, Miss Claythorne?
Must we harp on this topic at dinner?
Miss Brent may be right, Mr. Marston. The rhyme is a bit gruesome. It's there over the fireplace in the parlor if you care to have a look later.
If you think so. Excellent meal, Rogers. My compliments to both you and your good woman. You've done your employers proud.
Thank you, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Most gratifying, I'm sure. After dinner, drinks will be served in the front parlor.
Okay. Oh, we're doing this?
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. This is your host, UN Owen. You are charged with the following indictments. Edward George Armstrong, that you did upon the 14th day of March 1925 cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleave. Emily Caroline Brent, that upon the 5th of November 1931 you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. William Henry Blore, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor on October 10th, 1928. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that on the 11th day of August 1935 you killed Cyril Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that upon a date in February 1932 you were guilty of the death of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon Mackenzie, that on the 4th of January 1917 you deliberately sent your wife's lover Arthur Richmond to his death. Anthony James Marston, that upon the 14th day of November last you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that on the 6th of May 1929 you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that upon the 10th day of June
These are quite heavy accusations.
you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
That was not quite the reaction I was expecting.
Rogers. I'm sure she'll be fine. Narracott, you get my bag from my room?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I
Bella, Marston, in a moment I'll want help to get her to her room. Of course. Behind the kitchen, is it, Rogers?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You can use that door.
Aha. Yeah, we totally haven't been up there already. I totally don't know where your room is, sir. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one. There we go. So, we need the doctor's bag. Grab that. And then run back down. Now, he will have moved already. Quite quickly, I might add. So, where we were before the servants' quarters were just down here. Oh, there we are. Right. Armstrong, I've got your bag.
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. I am in your debt.
Alright, can I just talk to
Perhaps
him?
we can talk later. For now, I must see to my patient.
Right, can I examine her?
Perhaps we can talk later. For now, I must see to my patient.
Okay, fine. Right, not the bathroom. Let's go this way. Right, is anybody in the parlour we can talk to? Oh yeah, we can't. We need to go out through the main hall here, don't we? So see, is anybody still around we can talk to?
Now, Rogers, tell us about that extraordinary voice.
It was Mr. Owen, sir. In his letter, he wrote to me to put it on the gramophone once you were all settled in here after dinner.
That was Mr. Owen's voice?
You doubt that it was?
No. I thought I recognized it. I'm sure I'm mistaken.
A disgraceful practical joke.
You think it was a joke?
What else could it be?
I
That's
will need
Armstrong's
to hear
line.
more evidence before offering an opinion.
Mr. Marston and I carried Mrs. Rogers to her room. I gave her a mild sedative. She's resting comfortably.
Whoever it was on that recording, that person knows or has taken the trouble to find out a good deal about us all. He was correct about Seaton. I presided at the trial, but all I did was execute a guilty man.
I remember the case. As I recall, there was some talk.
Happily, guilt and innocence are decided by those of us qualified to make a judgment, not by gossip.
Uh-huh.
Of course, there is one omission in that recording. Mr. Narracott, of course. Although to hear Mr. Blore tell it, he might have earned a place on that list had Mr. Owen been so inclined.
Right, okay, let's talk to Dr. Armstrong first. Any truth to the accusation against you?
Any truth to the accusation against you?
It's a matter of interpretation, you understand. But I'd have to say, yes.
Wow, you're quick. Wow, wow, you were quick to admit
Will you
that.
tell me how it happened?
Elderly woman. Poor devil. I'd been up all night with an emergency case. My nerves were shot, hands shaking. But I had to operate. I had to try and save her. I had a pick-me-up or two to steady myself, but I bungled it. It wasn't the drink, I swear. It was an accident. Could have happened to anyone in my profession.
Wow, you actually had to coax that out of him in the stage show. But yeah, he used to be a heavy drinker. But that didn't come out until Act 3, holy crap. What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Owen sent me a note, asking me to have a look at his wife, who's been suffering from arthritis and muscle spasms.
What was the gossip concerning the Seaton case?
I'm not one to spread gossip to just anyone about a man as distinguished as Justice Wargrave. If I were certain about it, perhaps. But I'm not.
That is all for now, Dr. Armstrong.
Right, okay, so I guess we're going to have to build up trust with them. Is there anybody else here? Yeah, they're all here near enough. You, Marston.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
The name sounded vaguely familiar. I expect it will come to me.
Oh, charming.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Got a wire from a pal of mine, Badger Barclay. Surprised me at the time because I had an idea the old horse had gone to Norway. Told me to roll up here.
That will be enough, Mr. Marston.
Okay. I haven't really watched much of, or read much of, Agatha Christie before we did, and then there were none. But I might maybe take a look at other stories, maybe.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
There isn't a word of truth in it. Miss Brady was always in poor health. Always. From the time we came to her.
Will you tell me how it happened?
There was a storm, as fierce as the one brewing outside right now when she was taken bad. The telephone was out of order. I went for the doctor on foot, but he got there too late.
Were you mentioned in the will?
Barely. Certainly not what we were led to believe. She was just saying it, you see, to ensure our devotion to her. Beg pardon. I'm not sure what came over me just then. The strain of tonight, I expect, and worry over Mrs. Rogers, of course.
Uh-huh.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Isn't that obvious, sir? My wife and I were hired through an agency in Plymouth. Manservant, housekeeper, cook. That's what we are.
Good evening, Mr. Rogers.
Okay, who's next? Go this way. Alright, we'll talk to, can we talk to Wargrave? Oh, actually. Can I wonder if that battery will work in here.
I don't think that's appropriate. I won't do that.
Okay, maybe not then.
That isn't such a good idea.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Right, talk to Wargrave first.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
I remember Seaton perfectly well. Playwright, not a very good one. Charged with the murder of a chorus girl. He was very ably defended and made a good impression on the jury. Nevertheless, it was clear to me he'd done it.
I am grateful for your assistance, Judge Wargrave.
Uh-huh. Vera.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
About that child, Cyril Hamilton. I was nursery governess to him.
They're all taking this rather well.
Will you tell me how it happened?
I'd like to tell you. Cyril was forbidden to swim out far. One day, my attention was distracted. I couldn't get there in time. It was awful. But it wasn't my fault. At the inquest, the coroner exonerated me. Oh, and his mother. She was so kind. If she didn't blame me, why should this awful thing be said?
Are you sure you're telling me everything?
I'm telling you all I'm going to, Mr. Narracott.
Okay, they probably don't trust me much yet.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I was engaged through an agency to be Mrs. Owen's secretary. Nothing remarkable in that, is there?
Much obliged for your assistance, Miss Claythorne.
Not really. Okay, General Mackenzie.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
Fellow got hold of a detestable rumor, nothing more. Arthur Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on a reconnaissance, he was killed. Natural course of events in wartime.
I am indebted to you for your help, General Mackenzie.
Okay, Lombard.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
Owen did his research well. The accusation is absolutely true. I don't see that you've earned the right to any details, though.
Uh-huh. You're very sus, Captain Lombard. Let's, press you further.
Will you tell me how it happened?
It was written up in the papers at the time. A story of self-preservation, pure and simple. A hunting party lost in the bush. The great white hunter checks the food supplies, assesses his chances, and clears out on his own.
Leaving 21 men to die.
Not very Puka Sahib, I'm afraid.
Say what now? I have to Google that. What does that actually mean? Let's have a look in here what that means. Right, let's have a quick look. Apparently it's a slang term taken from Hindi words, which is supposed to mean, it can be translated as true gentleman or excellent fellow. Used in the British Empire exclusively to refer to white people of European extraction and frequently to describe an attitude which British administrators were said to affect, that an aloof, impartial, incorruptible arbiter of a political fate of large part in a surface. Apparently it's still used informally in 21st century Britain to describe something as excellent. I have never heard that word, that phrase before. Given its origins, I still probably wouldn't use it, but I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong. Apparently, I think it's just it's dated term, I think.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Owen's attorney, a man named Archibald Morris, rang up one day. Wanted to give me 100 guineas to join this house party. I was to put myself at Owen's disposal in case my rather specialized talents were required.
What would those be?
What specialized talents would those be?
You might say I'm a good man in a scrap.
Thank you, Lombard.
Mm-hmm. Right, we'll talk to Vera and to Brent and Clay. Well, to Blore in just a moment. So I'll just check a couple of things. Yeah, that's all in a working order. Actually, before we go anywhere. Oh, Christ. Please tell me that's saved. Yeah, please tell me that's saved. Probably hasn't. Oh, wow, okay. Well, we're gonna have to speedrun that again, I'm afraid. We'll, right, skip that, we know that.
10 little sailor boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9.
Thank you for your assistance, Mr. Narracott. Everything and everyone nicely in place. I must say, I don't much like these clouds. I expect you should be heading back without delay.
Right.
Now it begins. Don't worry, Fred. I won't let you down.
Hopefully.
Drizzle. It's going to get much worse.
Hopefully it won't take me long to get back there.
Damn thing's wrecked. No chance of returning to the mainland now.
Alright, okay. This time we'll save when we at certain points.
I can see the jetty from here.
Okay, so lesson learned, I guess. Don't alt-tab out of the game.
Narracott, you gave me quite a turn.
Taking a stroll, Mr. Marston.
Just a short constitutional before dressing for dinner.
That storm's closing in. This drizzle's about to turn ugly.
Yes, looks beastly.
What's that you're carrying?
This? Just some
Yeah, okay,
paper and
come on,
string
we know
I found
this.
on the beach. Roger seems like a tartar for order and cleanliness. Thought I'd help out.
Terribly nice of you.
Well, I'm heading to the house. If I were you, I'd do the same. Won't do to get caught out here when the brunt of this storm hits.
I'll be along directly, Mr. Marston.
Yes, yes, of course, old boy. Whatever you say.
Okay.
That was rather odd behavior.
Right, let's just save periodically. Just, okay, let's head back to the house. Right, we won't need to spend as long reading everything though, because we do know what's going on.
Not exactly my style, though.
Mr. Narracott, why are you still on the island?
Someone scuttled my boat.
Scuttled? Wrecked, you mean? But who on earth would do such a thing?
I intend to find out.
But that means, who will come for us on Monday?
Unless this storm lets up, no one.
Dear me, dear me. Come in, come in. You'll catch your death out here. I must help my wife prepare dinner. I'll have her fix you up something in the kitchen.
Thank you.
Right, okay, let's just grab everything and make it quick.
Where he's going to sleep, I'll never know. Ethel won't like this one bit.
Grab that. Up we go. Go there first. Go to... That'll be Blaw's room, probably. No, it's Armstrong's. Grab that.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Okay, we don't need to look at it because we have been... We've read it already. I grab Blaw's letter.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Right, and let that run.
Once a bent copper, always a bent copper. Right, Fred?
You're talking through your hat. You were the Purcell gang's inside man on the force, not my brother.
Your brother? Don't try to kid me, Fred. There's still a handsome reward out for you.
Fred is my brother. I'm Patrick Fane.
No reason for me to believe you that I can see. There's still a big reward out for Fred Fane.
You scuttled my boat to trap me here.
You recognized me, too. I saw it in your eyes.
Only because Davis showed Fred the passenger list yesterday. I came in my brother's place. We didn't think you might mistake me for him. Fred is 8 years older than me. Look closely, Blaw.
You do look young, I noticed that. Thought it must be the sea air.
You were taking the Purcell's bribes for years. After the Landor case, people began to ask questions. The Purcells needed what the Yank detective novels call a fall guy. My brother was framed.
It's Yank,
you were in the clear.
not Yank.
Your whole story sounds like a detective novel.
I've never stopped trying to clear Fred's name and put you in Dartmoor prison where you belong. Thanks to your greed, I may now have that chance.
Maybe you're Patrick, maybe you're Fred. I don't know.
Maybe you're Freddy.
You're either a criminal, or you've been harboring one all these years. I wonder what my fellow guests will think of that. Go on, Mr. Narracott. Hop it. I need to prepare for dinner.
Mm-hmm. Right, before we do that, though... Okay, Blaw is sus. Let's get out of here. Right, we've got that one. Peek into his room. This is Lombard's, isn't it? Yeah, he's the one with the revolver. Okay, yep, knock.
Narracott? I thought you'd be long gone by now. That storm's getting pretty fierce.
Somebody scuttled my boat.
I saw Blaw
Oh, the
watching you out of
scuttlebutt.
Hawkeye's dinner. Could it have been him?
Possibly.
Any idea why?
I'd rather not say.
Suit yourself. I'd better get ready for dinner.
Knock.
Oh, Mr. Narracott, I thought that you'd left us.
Someone scuttled my boat.
Oh, but that's dreadful. Surely the harbour master will send another boat when you're missed.
Not in this storm, I'm afraid. And even then, it won't be reported.
Why ever not?
My brother. He knew I might not be immediately back.
I'm terribly sorry for your trouble.
Hmm.
The Owens should be arriving shortly. I'm sure you can get a ride back in that boat. If you'll excuse me, I must get ready for dinner.
Yes. I know probably why you can't skip it because it's an adventure game, but it's
Yes?
it would be nice if you could.
Oh, Mr. Narracott, I had a question for you. Have you heard anything in Sticklehaven about this house being set up as a guest house?
No, Miss Brent.
No. Mrs. Rogers hasn't either. And who are the Owens?
I haven't met them yet.
Would it surprise you
Just
to learn neither
haven't
have
met
Mr. and Mrs.
them
Rogers?
yet.
It's odd. Very odd. If you'll excuse me, Mr. Narracott, I must make dinner preparations.
My wife is indisposed, not receiving
Okay.
visitors today.
Your wife, sir?
What?
Your wife?
My wife? Yes. Leslie. I'm sorry,
I
my
like
boy.
Mackenzie.
I was
He has a
wool-gathering
sad background to
miles
him.
away. My apologies. Must dress for dinner now.
He's screwed up with the
Send my
rest of
orderly
them,
to
but
me, if
still.
you will. No, that's not right. What was I thinking? I must get ready for dinner now.
Okay.
Locked.
Right, okay, I can't get in there yet.
It's locked fast. It's tightly locked.
Right, so what I'll do then... I have the umbrella, don't I? Yeah. Right, don't want to go in the pool room just yet. This camera, though. Nothing really here I can grab, is there? No.
It'll never work, I tell you. We should never have agreed. A house party only a week after we arrive? And no other help?
Ethel, calm yourself.
You promised me. Never again, you said.
How was I to know? Oh, Mr. Narracott. Ethel will be preparing you a meal in here once the guests are served.
Okay, alright, no worries. Let's, So I'm trying to just go through this as quick as I can just to get back to where we were. Okay. Grab that. Grab the scoop. Scoop some stuff. And then scoop it again.
There are some batteries buried under here.
Alright, let's save. Okay.
I don't need to lug this around with me.
Okay, I think that's all we need from the kitchen. And then get Roger's letter from here and the items in here that we need.
I
Scan
copied
that.
the contents into my notebook.
Grab that. I'm sure you can probably get them at a later date, but I just want to make sure we hoover everything up now. Okay. Hi, Mrs. Rogers.
Would you just look at all these silk sheets? All embroidered GS. I'll bet that was that actress who used to live here. But I've dropped them on this filthy floor.
I'll give you a hand.
Can I give you a hand, Mrs. Rogers?
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. You seem like a good sort. I'm sorry for your boat.
Okay, let's go that way.
It's tightly
That's locked. Is that open?
It's locked fast.
Okay. Right, I think we need to be summoned for dinner before I can get the rest of them. The pool room's this way, I believe.
You're shot, Judge.
Yes. You haven't left me much, I confess.
I knew judges listened to confessions. I never knew they made them as well.
Oh, some judges may have cause. Some doctors as well, I expect.
That sounds like the dinner bell.
Yes.
Mr. Narracott, unfortunately, we are not prepared for your presence at dinner. I would be most happy to deliver you a sandwich later this evening, if that will do.
That will be fine, Rogers. Thank you.
Excellent. Now, if you will excuse me, I must get to serving.
By all means. I can hear them all in the dining room chattering.
Deja vu,
Can't
deja
quite make out
vu.
what they're saying.
Yeah,
It's
the game
before
crashed and we
the
didn't save, so we're just trying to get back to where we were quickly.
Aha! With my ear against the door, conversation becomes quite clear.
And this time I'm just saving as we go.
No, thank you, Rogers. I never touch alcohol. Except for sterilizing wounds or instruments, of course.
So long as you don't
I tried
drink
to collect
it.
some apples from an orchard on the island, but a bee stung me. I'm afraid I dropped the basket and ran.
Yeah, that's
No need to
fair.
apologize. I myself am dreadfully allergic to bees, wasps, hornets. I'm sorry to hear there are bees here. Oh, you must take care. There's all sorts of those bee house things. What do you call it?
An apiary.
Oh, I thought that was for monkeys.
Uh-huh.
Miss Claythorne, we've never met, but I do seem to recall your name.
Oh?
Yes, from when I stayed at that stuffy old hotel near St. Trednick. Do you know it?
No. No, I don't think so.
Emily seems a bit more agreeable than in the stage version, from what I can see.
Sure.
Narracott says he's not Fred Fane, but his brother. It may well be, but he bears watching.
He seems like such a
Shut
nice
up,
man.
Law.
They said the same thing.
Been there
about
with the
Stephen
Underworld
Silver,
DLC, got
child
halfway through.
murderer.
Oh
I
no,
confess I never
oof.
met our host, Mr. Owen.
Yeah, it's
What
annoying
kind of
when
a
that
man is he?
happens.
Rogers?
We haven't seen the Owens either, sir. We were only engaged a week ago by letter and asked to make the house ready.
So no one has actually met the Owens.
How extraordinary.
I, for one, will have some sharp questions for the Owens when they do arrive.
Uh-huh. Like, will this game not crash again? If I alt-tab out of it? Right, that's saved.
I
Let's
shall
go.
come back later, when the conversation has progressed some.
Okay, alright, so you need to go upstairs and do, like, a few things anyway. Okay. So, let's go through the checklist again. We have Armstrongs, we have Bloors. Oh, I forgot to copy that down.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Right, who do we have? So we have Rogers, we have Armstrong, we have Bloor. Oops. And then... oh wait, no, that's the bathroom. Whose is this? Oh, this was Wargraves, okay. This looks like The Sims. Hey Eiko, how you doing? This is an adventure game, Agatha Christie's and Then There Were None. I thought to play this because I've just recently done a community theatre production of it. So I thought, you know what? This game's been sitting in my Steam library for years, unplayed. I thought, you know what? Have a go. I'm not expecting to finish it, but I wanted to do at least a couple of streams of it for the lulz. It has achievements. It's on Steam, but I don't think it... Well, I mean, saying it might do. I just haven't looked. Could you try out Fahrenheit or Indigo? You mean Indigo Prophecy? Yeah, that is a game that's on the list, definitely. Right, grab Bloor's notebook. The detective that broke our boat.
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
But I have played Fahrenheit
Into
before.
my notebook.
So yeah, that will definitely be on the list for one day. There's the bathroom. So yeah, the game has... Oh yeah, decisions that matter. Yeah. It was an interesting beast, let's say, from what I remember.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Yeah, the decisions in Indigo Prophecy, the ending... I can't remember which one I actually went with when I finished the game last time. It wasn't a good one, that's for sure. But yeah, let's just go back through here and just making sure I've collected everything. Yeah, as I say, the game crashed, so I'm just going through it and making sure we have everything, so we can get back to where we were quite quickly. So whose letters do we need? We need, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need Marston's, Lombard's, and Vera's. Vera's is here. Oh, we need Emily's as well. Again, if you're not familiar with... Are you familiar with the story of And Then There Were None, Eiko? If not this, the original Agatha Christie novel. You do not. Okay, so yeah, so basically, 10 people get invited to an island, They all have shady pasts. That's why they were brought here. And basically, things go... let's just say things go to pot. You'll see what they're accused of a bit later when we've got everything.
Into my notebook.
Grab the Bible. Yeah, one of the characters is religious. I wonder what your character did. Now, there's a plot twist, actually. It does take liberties from the book, and the character we're playing as doesn't exist in the original story. So, he actually doesn't get mentioned, but we'll...
I copied the contents into my notebook.
So, we will see that when we get there. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That'll cover 2 of them. We just need Marston's now. Who's basically a rich brat, let's just say. Right, grab that. That's a code we need to work out at some point. Grab that sheet.
A radiator. You can't have enough of them, really.
And then we need one more thing in Marston's drawers. I keep wanting to call Anthony Marston Antonia Marston because in the play we did, we changed Marston's gender. Yeah, so I've still got that name in my head. Okay, I think we have everything now that we need. So let's go back. Yeah, I think we have everything now, I think. Oh yeah, I need to copy that down.
I copied the contents into my notebook.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Yeah, this is like a typical adventure game. Take everything that's not nailed down, and anything that is nailed down, solve the puzzle to unscrew the nails. Right, okay, cutscene again. And as soon as this is finished, we're saving.
Aha! With my ear against the door, the conversation becomes quite clear.
Did anyone else see the poem over the fireplace?
10 little sailor boys. Yes, I saw it.
And here before us as the centerpiece of our table are the 10 little sailor boys themselves, all looking correct and polished.
I like a neat and tidy house, Your Honor.
Robson, the man who built this house, was a sailor. Perhaps Mr. Owen inherited them from him.
Another question for Mr. Owen.
As I remember, the rhyme was about soldier boys. Highly inappropriate, as I recall.
There are many variations.
You seem to know quite a bit about it, Miss Claythorne.
I was a governess before seeking secretarial work. Governesses spend a lot of time with nursery rhymes.
All gratuitously gruesome, if you ask me.
Once again, this
So much
story did
violence
have
in
2
work.
original titles that aren't
There speaks a
are
soldier
at
for
best
you.
racially
A realist,
insensitive,
Miss
so
Brent, not a
as
diva.
well as that original rhyme as
action
well.
needs to be taken.
So I would ask
I, for
not
one,
to
am
repeat the
fully
original
prepared to take
titles
it.
in
How
chat,
does the
please.
famous rhyme
I
go?
don't think anybody
Must
would,
we harp
but
on this
just so
topic
I'm
at
clear
dinner?
on that one.
Miss Brent may be right, Mr. Marston. The rhyme is a bit gruesome. It's there over the fireplace in the parlor if you care to have a look later.
If you think so. Excellent meal, Rogers. My compliments to both you and your good woman. You've done your employers proud.
Thank you, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Most gratifying, I'm sure. After dinner drinks will be served in the front parlor.
Okay, here comes the accusations again.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence please. This is your host, UN Owen. You are charged with the following indictments. Edward George Armstrong, that you did upon the 14th day of March 1925 cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleese. Emily Caroline Brent, that upon the 5th of November 1931 you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. William Henry Blore, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Landor on October 10th, 1928. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that on the 11th day of August 1935, you killed Cyril Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that upon a date in February 1932, you were guilty of the death of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon Mackenzie, that on the 4th of January 1917, you deliberately sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that upon the 14th day of November last, you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that on the 6th of May 1929, you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that upon the 10th day of June 1934, you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
And literally only one person has something to say about that.
I only fainted, Rogers. I'm sure she'll be fine. Narracott, you get my bag from my room?
Yes, of course.
Stout fellow.
Lawrence does look sus, I
Want help to
agree.
get her to her room. Of course. Behind the kitchen, is it, Rogers?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You can use that door.
Right, okay, let's go back up and get the doctor's bag. It's not far. Yeah, I'm sure we needed an FMV of him going up the stairs. That's the wrong room. It's this one, I believe, I think. Not quite, but close enough. There we go. We need his bag. And then he'll have moved. Oh yeah, totally necessary. Right, let's save. I can't think of save names at the moment. And I believe he's in here. Right. Armstrong, you want your bag?
Thank you, Mr. Narracott. I am in your debt.
Alright, so we can't... Yippee-ki-yay, like the cowboys, exactly. Right, so we need to go back into the parlour and talk to everybody. They're in there.
Now, Rogers, tell us about that extraordinary voice.
It was Mr. Owen, sir. In his letter, he wrote to me to put it on the gramophone once you were all settled in here after dinner.
That was Mr. Owen's voice?
You doubt that it was?
No. I thought I recognized it. I'm sure I'm mistaken.
A disgraceful practical joke.
You think it was a joke?
In the UK, do you not have some kind of
I will need to hear more
hysterical
evidence
screech?
before
I'm sure we
offering an
do.
opinion.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just not like in the like yippee-ki-yay. I can't go that high right now. I know what you mean though.
On that recording, that person knows or has taken the trouble to find out a good deal about us all. He was correct
Oh,
about
historical.
Seaton. I presided at the trial, but all I did was execute a guilty
I'm sure we do.
I remember the case. As I recall, there was some talk.
Happily, guilt and innocence are decided by those of us qualified to make a judgment, not by gossip. Of course, there is one omission in that recording. Mr. Narracott, of course. Although to hear Mr. Blore tell it, he might have earned a place on that list, had Mr. Owen been so inclined.
Mr. Wargrave, Judge Wargrave, you look like a puppet.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
It's a matter of interpretation, you understand. But I'd have to say, yes.
If it wasn't clear, this was the character I played in our community production of it.
Will you tell me?
Dr. Armstrong.
Elderly woman. Poor devil. I'd been up all night with an emergency case. My nerves were shot, hands shaking. But I had to operate. I had to try and save her. I had a pick-me-up or two to steady myself, but I bungled it. It wasn't the drink, I swear.
have to say,
it was an accident.
yes.
Could have happened to anyone in my profession.
Yeah, he seems to take it rather well in comparison to the line. Oh, what was it? You'll get a bit of a demonstration. Not quite so loud in here, but I mean, the line in the stage version, I remember from Armstrong. No, drink. I used to be a heavy drinker. God help me, I was drunk when I operated. Quite a simple operation. My hands shaking all over the place. I can remember her now, a big, heavy, countrified woman, and I killed her. Be right back, we'll take a 20-minute nap. Okay, Echo, that's fine.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Owen sent me a note, asking me to have a look at his wife, who's been suffering from arthritis and muscle spasms.
Right, okay.
What was the
gossip?
concerning the Seaton
Give me the
case?
goss. Give me
I'm
the
not one to
dish.
spread gossip to just anyone about a man as distinguished as Justice Wargrave. If I was certain about it, perhaps. But I'm not.
That is all for now, Dr. Armstrong.
Okay. Right, let's go and talk to the others. Wrong way, Nevy. It's that way, isn't it? There we go. Oi, Marston.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
The name sounded vaguely familiar. I expect it will come to me.
Wow, Marston, you are not asked about this, are you?
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Got a wire from a pal of mine, Badger Barkley. Surprised me at the time because I had an idea the old horse had gone to Norway. Told me to roll up here.
Thanks, Marston.
He sounds a little bit like Stewie from Family Guy in some parts.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
It's true we were the only ones there the night Miss Brady died. But she was always in poor health. Always. From the time we came to her.
Will you tell me how it happened?
There was a storm. As fierce as the one brewing outside right now when she was taken bad. The telephone was out of order.
Oh, thank you for the clip,
I went to
Echo.
the doctor on foot, but he got there too late.
Were you mentioned in the will?
Barely. Certainly not what we were led to believe. She was just saying it,
Oh,
you see,
thank you very much.
to ensure our devotion to her. Beg pardon. I'm not sure what
Be
came over me
back
just
now.
then.
Okay.
The strain of tonight, I expect. And worry over Mrs. Rogers, of course.
All right, we brought you here to Shipwreck Island.
Shipwreck Island.
We expected to finally meet Mr. and Mrs. Owen today. Ethel didn't want to take the job, but I insisted. I'm beginning to wish I'd listened to her.
I appreciate your candor, Mr. Rogers.
Okay. Let's just save just in case something goes wrong again. Okay. Go this way. Oh, actually, can I take a look? Can I examine there?
I shouldn't do that. I need to have my wits about me. I shouldn't do that. I need to have my wits about me.
Oh, I can take that though. Why do I need 3 of them?
I shouldn't do that. I need to have my wits about me.
Okay, alright. Why do I need 3 of them though? I'm not sure. Okay. Let's go this way. Now, am I sure I can't put the batteries in here?
Perhaps another time.
Maybe not. Maybe not
That
then.
isn't such a good idea. Perhaps another time.
Alright.
I
Oh, we
won't
need
do
to
that.
actually put it back in the inventory. Okay. There we go. Talk to you.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
I remember Seaton perfectly well. Playwright, not a very good one. Charged with the murder of a chorus girl. He was very ably defended and made a good impression on the jury. Nevertheless, it was clear to me he'd done it.
Good evening, Judge.
Uh-huh.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
About that child, Cyril Hamilton. I was nursery governess to him.
Oh, right. Will you tell me how it happened?
Will you tell me how it happened?
I'd like to tell you. Cyril was forbidden to swim out far. One day, my attention was distracted. I couldn't get there in time. It was awful. But it wasn't my fault. At the inquest, the coroner exonerated me. Oh, and his mother. She was so kind. If she didn't blame me, why should this awful thing be said?
Are you sure you're telling me everything?
Are you sure?
I'm telling you all I'm going to, Mr. Narracott.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I was engaged through an agency to be Mrs. Owen's secretary. Nothing remarkable in that, is there?
Thank you for your time, Miss Gleatham.
Uh-huh. They're all kind of holding something back.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
Fellow got hold of a detestable rumor, nothing more. Arthur Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on a reconnaissance, he was killed. Natural course of events in wartime.
I am indebted to you for your help, General Mackenzie.
Alright, Lombard.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
Owen did his research well. The accusation is absolutely true. I don't see that you've earned the right to any details, though.
Uh-huh.
Will you tell me how it happened?
Oh, it was written up in the papers at the time. A story of self-preservation, pure and simple. A hunting party lost in the bush. The great white hunter checks the food supplies, assesses his chances, and clears out on his own.
Leaving 21 men to die.
Not very Puka Sahib, I'm afraid.
Uh-huh. Right. What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
Owen's attorney, a man named Archibald Morris, rang up one day. Wanted to give me 100 guineas to join this house party. I was to put myself at Owen's disposal in case my rather specialized talents were required.
And what would they be?
What specialized talents would those be?
You might say I'm a
When
good
we
man
finish
of
this
scrap.
conversation,
That'll
I'm
be
just
all,
wondering
Mr.
if we can
Lombard.
autosave. Save. Is there an autosave? No, there's not. Okay. Not to worry. Talk to Blore.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
Look, Narracott, if that's what you want to call yourself.
He doesn't
The
trust me.
rules have changed. Can't you see that? The past is past. It's the present we should be worrying about. Something is not right here.
Uh-huh. And you were so keen to mistake me for my brother and lock me up just a while ago, Mr. Blore. You are sus.
Will you tell me how it happened?
All right. Perhaps I was doing the odd favor for the Purcells. But if your brother was framed, I had nothing to do with it. Yes, they paid me to perjure myself about Landor. Thanks to them, I was able to put enough away to set up my own detective agency. Nothing fancy, but I've been straight ever since, I swear.
Landor died.
He got penal servitude for life and died in Dartmoor a year later. Not my fault he was such a delicate man.
Uh-huh.
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I run a little detective agency in Plymouth these days.
Of course, we know this from the letters.
Protect Mrs. Owen's jewels, the letter said. Mrs. Owen, my foot. I don't believe there's any such person.
That'll do, Mr. Blore.
That'll do. Miss Brent.
Any truth to the accusation against you?
I have always acted in accordance with the dictates of my conscience. I have nothing with which to reproach myself.
There we go. There's the Emily Brent I
Will
know.
you tell me how it happened?
It was some time before I found out she was what they call in trouble. Her parents were decent folk, too. I'm glad to say they did not condone her behavior when I told them of it.
What happened to Beatrice?
Naturally, I did not keep her an hour under my roof. No one shall ever say that Emily Brent condoned immorality.
Oh,
How
that's
did she
oh,
die?
that's cold.
Not content with having one sin on her conscience, she committed a still graver sin. She took her own life, threw herself in the river. If she had behaved like a decent young woman, she'd be alive today.
You have no regrets?
She made an excellent breakfast. I miss that. Fresh juice every day.
Okay, the NevByte channel would like to just stop and basically make a distinction. Miss Brent's thoughts on suicide here should not be the attitude you approach with somebody who's feeling suicidal today, or in fact any day. And we'll leave the matter there, shall we? What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
What brought you here to Shipwreck Island?
I received a letter with a signature that was not very easy to read. It purported to be from a woman I'd met at a certain summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. I am quite certain I have never met or become friendly with anyone of the name of Owen.
Saint Trednick?
I overheard you mention Saint Trednick. That's clear.
Oh, Trednick.
I was staying at a seaside hotel near St. Trednick this same week of August 4 years ago. That boy Cyril Hamilton drowned near there. It was the talk of the town. His half-brother was much older. Hugo, I think his name was. Cyril was a vile child, by all accounts, but first in line for the family title and estates. When he died, it all went to Hugo. He was just about Miss Claythorne's age. There was talk of something between them.
You're suggesting Vera let the boy drown so the man she loved could inherit?
That would be idle gossip. I don't indulge in idle gossip. I've only told you the facts of the case as I remember them.
Bullshit. Right, okay. So we've talked to everybody. This is where I'm going to start to slow down in progress-wise. So, the only one I can't really... Oh, wait, no, Mrs. Rogers is knocked out, isn't she?
I don't think he's in the mood for conversation. The time for talk has passed.
Okay. Armstrong?
Now is not the time for chatter.
Right, okay, so... Do they have any items I can show them? Can I show Blora's notebook?
That doesn't make sense.
Okay, fine.
I shouldn't do that. I need to have my wits about me.
Okay.
I shouldn't do that. I need to have my wits about me.
Yeah, okay, fine. Can I have a look around here? Oh wait, the gramophone, actually. Can I look at the gramophone? Where actually is it? Oh, I can take them. The matches. Look at that. 10 little sailor boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little sailor boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8. 8 little sailor boys travelling in Devon. The one said he'd stay there, and then there were 7. 7 little sailor boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in half, and then there were 6. 6 little sailor boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. 5 little sailor boys going in for law. One got in chancery, and then there were 4. I think that chancery is something to do with... Actually, I won't say what it means because it's a dead giveaway. 4 little sailor boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one, and then there were 3. 3 little sailor boys walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. 2 little sailor boys sitting in the sun. One got frizzled up, and then there were none. 1 little sailor boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself, and then there were none. Oh, chilling. Right, okay. Is there anything I can take here that's not nailed down? I can't talk to Lombard.
Now is not the time for chatter.
Okay, we've done the conversation here. I can't show them their letters of invitation. Do I need to read all of them? I won't read them all aloud again. You can go back through the VOD if you want to read them all. Let's see. Will the dialogue option come up there? Law, Marston, Lombard. Under rather suspicious circumstances, each person here was invited by an unknown host, one UN Owen. The island got its name by being shaped like a wrecked ship. It also downed more than a few unwary boats in its day. Right, Henry Bloor, Marston. Right, okay.
The time for talk has passed.
Okay, no other dialogue options with that. Oh, wait, hold on. That's a light, Nevy. That is a lamp.
Interesting ashtray. Birds everywhere. Interesting ashtray. Birds everywhere.
Let's have a quick look in here.
It's locked fast.
Locked. Can I go in that one? Yes.
It's a book holder. Seems like a long time since it's been used.
Okay. Anything I can mess with in here? There's a desk lamp. I seem to just be taking everything and everything here.
That looks like the jetty here on the island. He looks quite happy. She a little less so.
Do you think? A diary.
Normally, I would never violate someone's privacy this way. However, given the circumstances, I will examine the entries for clues and transcribe any passages I find pertinent.
Okay, let's have a look then. Robson's diary. The whole section of this house isn't really important to me anymore. I rarely venture past the game room, despite his feeble protests. I know he wouldn't want me invading his private sanctum, but really, you couldn't find a more cliched way to conceal a secret passageway. I often wonder if Elmer has any sense at all. He may as well live at sea. It's the only place where he seems control of his faculties. Truly, the albatross is the most graceful bird in motion. A photograph does it absolutely no justice. Most other birds that turn up on this benighted flyspeck of an island look completely absurd flitting about. I must get away from here. I feel cooped up. If Elmer doesn't change his ways, and soon, he may discover how like an albatross I can be. Elmer tried to get me on a schooner again this afternoon. I barely made it to the dock. It's absurd, really. I feel as if the entire ocean were a gaping bottomless pit, or any boat, no matter how large or seaworthy, was little more than a leaf capable of being sucked into that smothering darkness at any moment. Elmer can be stubborn, but at least he gives in to reason eventually. We are selling the house to Gabrielle Steele, the actress, and moving back to the mainland. Although I dread the ensuing trip across the channel, I told him I can certainly bear it, knowing I never have to go near another island. Of course, it was just like Elmer. To point out that England is an island. Very funny. I cannot say I'm much taken with Miss Steele. She sauntered through the house today, as if she already owned it, practically ignoring us. She came in with two small bookish men who followed her around like lapdogs, one of them furiously taking notes as the diva dictated her grandiose plans for parts of the house, making no secret of her dislike for certain aspects. My precious birds, and her room ideas for remodelling. A screening room. I can imagine her spending countless hours in there watching her own films, basking in her own brilliance. Grab that book. What's that one? A History of the South Devon Coast.
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
I'll take a look at that a bit later. Bear with me a moment. Is there somebody that I've not met, I've not spoken to in there?
I don't think he's in the mood for conversation.
Okay, so I've talked to Armstrong.
The time for talk has passed. Now is not the time for chatter.
Okay. Right, okay, maybe we need to take a look for that gramophone. I think that's the only thing I can think of from the original play. Oh! Right in front of me, dingbat.
Interesting history Shipwreck Island has. I'd studied up on it before I came down.
What are the names of those two people I'm accused of killing?
John and Lucy Combs. I made a note of it.
Must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me, but of course you're right, sir. It was damned bad luck on them. Of course it was a pure accident. They rushed out of some cottage or other. Beastly nuisance.
Wow, your attitude.
English roads are hopeless, of course. Can't get up a decent pace on them. Well, anyway, it wasn't my fault.
You got a glass from somewhere. Oh, what's happening here?
This man is dead.
Oh yeah, you think? That was a bit sudden. Alright, towards Dr. Armstrong.
Did Marston choke to death?
You can call it choking if you like.
He died of asphyxiation, right enough.
Was Marston poisoned?
Can't say exactly. Everything points to one of the cyanides. No distinctive smell of prussic acid. Probably potassium cyanide. It acts pretty well instantaneously.
Was there something in the whiskey?
Yes, without a doubt.
Oh dear. I hope nobody else has been drinking it.
Do you think it was suicide?
Seems like it.
Could he have been murdered?
Could he have been murdered?
Not my line of country. I'm a doctor, not a detective.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Not I. Personally or professionally.
What do you think that record means?
A disgraceful and heartless practical joke, I suppose.
Good evening, Doctor.
Right, Wargrave.
Do you think it was suicide?
You conduct yourself well, Mr. Narracott, if you don't mind my saying so. Mr. Blore has told us that you are not what you appear, yet you told him you were not a detective.
When did I say that?
No, sir. But I've read many detective novels. I even had one of those junior detective kits when I was a boy. Magnifying glass, fingerprint powder.
Junior detective kit. Wonderful.
Ah, an amateur sleuth then. You appear to have something of a gift for it.
About the suicide, Judge.
I'm not yet prepared to offer an opinion.
Uh-huh.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
I knew his father, the Duke, and his elder brother. Like so many younger sons of his class, Anthony Marsden was a bit of a wastrel, as you will have gathered.
Uh-huh.
There were other rumors of late, of his dabbling in politics, but this is not the proper forum for that discussion.
Go to Twitter for that.
What do you think that record means?
May I answer that in a moment after asking a question of my own?
Okay.
Of course.
Does anyone know Mr. Owen's full name?
My letter was signed only U.N. Owen.
Yes, U.N. Owen. Or, by a slight stretch of fancy, unknown.
Dun dun dun.
I'll now answer your question, Mr. Narracott. The name, the recording, the circumstances under which all but you were lured to this island. I have no doubt in my mind that we have been invited here by a madman. very possibly a dangerous, homicidal lunatic.
Oh my god!
Why did you retire, Judge?
I know there was talk about my competence, even my ego running wild, but the truth of it is very simple. My health. A lifetime sentencing my fellow man, and now a higher power has passed judgment on me.
Good evening, Judge.
Okay, so... I don't think we can look at Marston, so let's talk to, this lot.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
Yes. In my experience, certain types of individuals, when faced with their sin, will then commit the greater one.
Sprint.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No.
What do you think that record means?
There is something very peculiar about it.
That is all, Miss Brent. Do you think Marston committed suicide?
I shouldn't have said Mr. Marston was a suicidal type of gentleman at all.
Uh-huh. I mean, not something you can really judge, is it? I mean, most people who aren't professionals, at least.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Never clapped eyes on him. And who gave you the authority to question us?
You're under no obligation to answer me. What do you think that record means?
I don't like it. Not one bit. Very queer, the whole
okay,
situation.
That is all for now, Mr. Blanc.
Okay, so they mean this in the old-fashioned, sense of the word. I don't know how to approach that one. It's not the reclaimed meaning, but the other phrase that was used in the 1930s. Hi.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
You'd never think he would kill himself. He was so alive. When he came down that hill in his car, he looked... Oh, I can't explain.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No. I'm sure I would have remembered.
Steady, Miss Claythorne. The lad had his faults, you know.
Oh, shut up, Lombard.
What do you think that record means?
It was unfair, what it said. Very unfair.
You seem to be a remarkably perceptive girl, Miss Claythorne.
Why, thank you, Mr. Narracott.
Is there anything you can tell me about our fellow castaways?
Castaways? You make it sound so...
Here on
I
Gilligan's
was going to
Isle.
say dramatic. Let me see. No one has confided any secrets to me, I'm afraid. Oh, except one.
That is...
I really don't know you well enough to answer you.
Much obliged for your assistance, Miss Claythorne.
Okay, Lombard.
Do you think Marston committed suicide?
He didn't seem particularly remorseful. Of course, the record might have set him off somehow. A new incident long after the fact may create a strong feeling of guilt or fear. Wouldn't you say, Doctor?
Possible. Quite possible.
Okay.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Heard of him, but we'd never crossed paths or swords.
What do you mean by that?
What do you think that record means?
There is something wrong with this entire weekend, and especially with our host, Mr. Owen.
I believe we're all coming around to that conclusion.
I think that's a polite way of saying
Yes,
no
but
shit.
I know something you don't, Judge.
What is that?
I recognize the voice on that recording, and it was definitely not Mr. Owen.
Who was it?
Not so fast, Narracott. Not until I think things through a bit.
Oh, you are
That'll be
coy.
all, Mr. Lombard.
Hi, General.
Do you think it was suicide?
How dare you? My wife died of natural
No, I
causes,
wasn't.
sir.
I wasn't.
A long illness. Nothing more.
I meant Marston.
I meant Marston.
Marston? No honor in him that I could see.
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
No, I don't think so. Not a military man, I'd wager. Lombard now. He reminds me of someone from my command. But the name wasn't Lombard.
Okay, what's up, sir? Bye.
What do you think that record means?
Ugly. After 30 years, ugly thing to say.
Thank you, General. Stay well.
Where have you been, Rogers?
I went to check on my wife, sir. She is resting comfortably. But I'm afraid I have some distressing news.
Oh?
One of the china figures of a sailor boy has been broken off.
Oh.
Chapter 2. 9 little sailor boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
Filthy night. I tried to go out to get some more wood for the fire, but the wind drove me back.
A storm like that will keep us all indoors.
My apologies for the accommodations, Mr. Narracott, but all the beds are taken.
Makes one wonder where the Owens were planning to sleep, doesn't it?
A good servant follows instructions, sir. He does not question his employer, unless you'd like to share the deceased's room with the corpse.
This will do fine. Thank you, Rogers.
Yeah, some people
I
might
wish
be
you
into
a
that,
good
but
night,
I'm not.
sir.
Everyone should be sound asleep by now. Good time for a little stealth work.
Alright, so let's save. Alright, save. Okay, so what exactly are we meant to do? Let's take a quick look. Right, let me get out of here. Thank you. Right, we've already took the gramophone record.
This bears a closer look. I
Hell-
wonder what's recorded on this side.
Are we gonna wake people up doing this?
I'm pleased to see at least one of you has thought to turn the record over. Any good house party should include party games. This weekend is no exception. I have devised several little games of the mind to challenge your wits, and I hope you find the rewards for each to be worth the effort. You'll have to discover my little amusements on your own, however.
Uh-huh.
I've scattered them all over this delightful island retreat. I hope that you will find them suitably entertaining.
Okay. Can I take that again? I don't think I can, no.
The storm is kicking up something fierce. Besides, my time would be better used snooping around inside at the moment.
Okay, well let's have a little look around then. I don't think it's going to be wise going into people's rooms. Right, is there anything in the dining room I can take a look at? Anything? Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, I think I know where the battery goes. So what if we combine that with that?
I'm afraid it's stuck that way. Excellent. Like hand in glove.
Ah. But the thing is, how do we use the flashlight then?
I don't think that's appropriate.
How do I... Can I not use it then?
A place for everything and everything in its place.
Okay, fine.
It's a sturdy cast iron stove.
Alright, let's have a quick look around then.
Copper pots, just as I'd expect. It won't help my brother if I'm drowned in the storm.
Okay,
Copper
so-
pots, just as I'd expect.
Okay, so I can't go outside.
The refrigerator hardly seems large enough for a house of this size.
Oh.
Whoever it is, please leave us. My wife needs her rest.
Okay, so I can't...
Sorry about that, Rogers.
Not at all.
Okay, well at least he's polite about it. And not wondering why I'm snooping around of a night time here. Although I don't quite know what I'm doing. The only thing I can't remember though is where Marston's room is. Oh. We need to be quiet. We don't want to wake Dr. Armstrong up.
He's as tight as an owl. I expect nothing could wake him up.
Okay, let's go that way. We in Blaw's room. No, it's Wargrave. This is so sus. This is really, really damn sus. Okay, let's just sneak out of here. I'm looking for Marston's room.
Locked.
Locked, go figure. This is really, really pervy. Oh, this is Lombard's room. Okay, I don't know why I'm whispering. This is not an ASMR stream. What's in here?
It's locked fast.
Okay, so that's probably Vera's room. I can't go in there.
Morning is coming. I'd best get back to my bed.
We haven't really accomplished anything, really.
Well, I didn't get much rest, but at least I have something to show for it. I'd best see if everyone has come down for breakfast.
I wonder what we're going to have for breakfast. What do you think? Alright. I don't know about you, but I'm yelping for it for breakfast. Is it a dining room? Can we need to go in the dining room?
If what Narracott told Vera is true, and mind you, I take anything he says with a grain of salt, then they will not be sending a boat until at least Monday, even if the storm clears.
Wise to remember, Narracott's the odd man out here.
Yes, thanks to you, I believe, Blore.
At least nothing else has occurred.
I hope you are correct, Miss Claythorne. However, I feel compelled to draw your attention to this table's centerpiece.
Now 2 are broken. How odd.
Ah, Mr. Narracott, good morning. Since Mr. Marsden won't be joining us, there is an extra place for breakfast, although breakfast itself seems to be a trifle behind schedule.
I'm afraid there is no breakfast at present. Mrs. Rogers has not been able to carry on this morning.
What's the matter with the woman? I was promised fresh apple juice this morning.
I must tell you a sad piece of news. Mrs. Rogers died in her sleep.
Oh, wait. Oh, whoa. Died in her sleep. Holy crap.
Any theories about Mrs. Rogers' death?
She was a very skittish creature. And she had a shock last night. It might have been heart failure.
Her heart's...
Her heart certainly failed to beat. What caused it to fail is the question.
Did you hear anything in the night?
No, my sleep was quite restful.
Much obliged for your assistance, Miss Claythorne.
There was some weirdo knocking on my door, though.
What was the cause of death?
Impossible to say offhand.
There must be an autopsy.
I certainly couldn't give a certificate without one.
When did you find out?
Rogers roused me at first light. He'd gotten up to light the stove and see to the power generator before waking her. When she didn't respond, he got me.
Can you tell when she died?
Can you tell when she died?
Without an autopsy, not for certain, but it must have been some hours ago. The body was, quite cold.
Did you hear anything in the night?
No, although it appears I should have.
Good
Although
day to you,
there appears
Doctor.
to be some weirdo walking around my room.
Any theories about Mrs. Rogers' death?
We know that she consumed something last night. Dr. Armstrong told us so. I, Mr. Lombard? You gave her a sedative.
A small dose of trial, nothing more.
Doctors have made mistakes before.
You're suggesting I accidentally gave Mrs. Rogers an overdose?
How dare you?
Accidentally or otherwise. One death may have been an accident or suicide, but two in the space of a few hours?
Simply outrageous. Man of my standing.
Any more questions, Mr. Narracott?
Did you hear anything in the night?
I'm a very light sleeper. In future, I hope everyone will bear that in mind. Yes, several times I heard something.
Some weirdo
Didn't
walking around my
investigate.
room.
With a judge, a detective, and an amateur sleuth in the house, you hardly need my poor skills in that line. I prefer to keep watch.
The hunter in his blind?
A good analogy, Judge.
You said you recognized Owen's voice.
I've had time to think it over, and I'm sure I did. But I see no reason to share that information with you.
Thanks for your time, Mr.
He
Lombard.
doesn't trust me, does he?
Any theories about Mrs. Rogers' death, Judge?
I'm afraid it confirms my opinion that there is something very wrong on this island. It occurs to me that if these two deaths were not suicides or accidents, that Mr. Owen may very well be responsible. If so, he is almost certainly on this island somewhere.
Aha.
I agree. I think we should find a way off this island immediately.
Yes, definitely.
Did you hear anything in the night?
I confess I slept fitfully. Marsden's death, the storm, but I heard nothing.
Except for
Possibly
some weirdo
also
walking
due
around
to
my
the
room.
Storm.
Understandable, Judge. Quite understandable.
Mr. Narracott, can your boat be repaired?
I doubt very seriously it can be repaired. Mr. Blore did a good job.
Steady on. I didn't know then how the land lay, did I?
So you say.
If you find a means of leaving the island or of signaling the mainland, I'm sure we would all be in your debt.
And I'm sure all of us would help in any way we could.
Hear, hear.
We're never going to leave the island. None of us are ever going to leave.
I wouldn't say
What
that.
were you hinting at concerning Marston's politics?
Only that he'd become mixed up with some foreigners. I think that's all I'd better say.
Yeah, I think you better leave it
I
there
appreciate your
before you say
candor, Judge.
something, before you put my foot in it, Wargrave. Okay. Miss Brent.
Any theories about Mrs. Rogers' death?
I'm sure Mrs. Rogers wasn't to blame. A good, loyal woman.
Did you hear anything in the night?
Did you hear anything in the night?
I thought I heard a voice calling my name.
That was me.
My wife.
Oh.
She died several years ago. I expect it was a dream.
General, you said you thought you recognized Lombard.
Did I? Yes, I expect I did. But I fail to see what business it might be of yours.
Thank you, General. Stay well.
Okay.
I won't take up any more of your time, Miss Brent.
Actually, yes, I will.
Any theories about Mrs. Rogers' death?
Conscience.
What do you mean by
By that.
She was accused, together with her husband, of having deliberately murdered her former employer, an old lady. You all saw her last night. She broke down completely. The shock of her wickedness brought home to her was too much to bear. She literally died of fear.
Possibly. If there was cardiac weakness.
Call it, if you prefer, an act of God.
Thank you, Miss Brent.
Blore.
You're a detective, Mr. Blore. Any theories?
I appreciate you recognizing the fact there's a professional present. I'd like to know what she had to eat or drink last night before she collapsed.
Rogers assures me she had nothing whatsoever.
Of course he would say that. But see here. They've done a murder and gotten away with it. Now she's all hysterical, likely to give the show away. She's a danger to her husband. That's what she is.
Oh, I should hardly think a man would do that to his wife.
You said you knew something about the history of this island.
Most of the old stuff can be found in the library. Its more recent history is just as interesting, though. But I'm not inclined to divulge that just yet.
Thanks, Blore.
Thanks, Blore.
Chapter 3. 8 little sailor boys traveling in Devon. One said he'd stay there, and then there were 7.
Right.
Rogers didn't let his wife's death get in the way of his custodial duties. I assume everyone has gone off on their own pursuits. I should do the same.
Okay, what I need to do, though, is just
I
go
can't
back...
see anything of interest.
I'm gonna go back to the parlour a minute. I'm sure there's something I should have picked up in the night time. Was there anything? Oh! How did I not see that before? Okay, we're done with that. What's that one? We've got plenty of... Marston's drink glass.
I see nothing remarkable.
Okay. We also have a cocktail shaker.
Nothing else to see about that.
Welcome back, Aiko. Welcome back. Oh, don't worry, don't worry. Oh, yeah, I'm sure the heat's probably... 41 degrees C, holy shit.
Perhaps another time.
I would not be able to function in that heat. You can tell summer's on the way, definitely. But yeah, we've lost 2 already. We've lost Marston, the young driver. How was that Bond quote with whiskey? Shaken, not stirred. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we've lost 2 of them. The young one, Marston, and Rogers' wife, the custodian. Yeah, so 2 people are dead already, and it's not even been a night, 24 hours yet. Oh! Okay, so we need to find another one of those. We won't be playing this too much longer. We're gonna be giving it a little bit longer.
I asked Rogers what this Miss Brady had suffered from. In a certain form of cardiac trouble, when an attack comes on, an ampule of amyl nitrate is broken and inhaled. If amyl nitrate were withheld...
I see. No positive action must be taken. No arsenic to obtain and administer. Nothing definite at all.
And nothing could be proved against Rogers or his wife.
It explains our situation here quite neatly. There are crimes that cannot be brought home to their perpetrators by the usual methods.
Who died in the sussiest way?
Advantage of his position?
Well, Marston was poisoned.
A doctor under the influence letting a scalpel slip? No offense, Doctor.
Mrs. Rogers appears to have died in her sleep.
Mr. Unknown. He has, for reasons only he knows, decided to seek justice for certain crimes as he sees them.
And who among us is the only one that stands unaccused?
Me.
Mr. Narracott, right on cue.
Let's talk to Dr. Armstrong first.
Have you seen any of the others?
Before we came in here, I saw Miss Brent knitting on the patio as if she hadn't a care in the world.
Could you perform an autopsy on Mrs. Rogers?
I could, sir, but I won't. As Mr. Lombard so helpfully pointed out, it might be thought I had something to do with her death. It would be unethical for me to operate.
Fair.
How much Trianol is missing from your supply?
I wouldn't know. I left the bottle with Rogers in case his wife required a second draft.
Thank you for your time, Doctor.
Uh-huh. Wargrave, the
judge. Have you seen any of the others?
I believe Mr. Blore and Mr. Lombard are off searching the island for Mr. Owen.
You didn't want to join them?
They are men accustomed to physical activity. I prefer to search for the truth with my mind.
Aha.
Me too.
You think they'll find Mr. Owen?
Not in the sense you mean.
Where would you search for Mr. Owen?
Closer to home.
Any idea how we can get off the island?
I've allowed you to continue your own investigations, Mr. Narracott, because I disagree that being the odd man out makes you more suspect. On the contrary. But I've given you a good deal of advice already. It would be well if you thought for yourself for a while and let us get on with our game.
Oh,
Good day
cheers.
to you, Judge.
Okay. So, let's just take a look around a little bit. Can I do anything else with that gramophone? Oh, wrong way. Can I do anything else with that? Oh, there's another thing in there that I missed. I'm sure I saw something in there. Somebody's playing the piano somewhere. So, we can use this in the radio, I'd imagine. Where's that other one? There we go.
It's got power, but it still doesn't seem to be working.
Okay, well at least we've done that. What does Shirley mean? Because I've seen that in older media and video. They say they don't call me Shirley. Good question. I think it's just the way people pronounce surely, like as in like, you know, sure. And some people just take that to mean Shirley. Which can be also a name for, which can also be a name for a person. Right, okay. They said Emily was on the patio. Let's see where that is. It's an airplane joke. Oh, okay. I've not seen airplane in a while. I couldn't even remember that joke. Oh, hello there. Yeah, the only joke I remember from that one is where somebody trying to calm the woman down, and they all have queue up to try and calm her down with more obscene, absurd methods.
Nice to have a break in the weather, although I don't expect it will last.
You don't seem concerned by the 2 deaths.
I remember a text that hung in my nursery as a child. Be sure thy sin will find thee out.
So in some way, Marston's and Mrs.
Yeah,
Rogers'
exactly,
sins have
yeah.
found them out?
Of course. I have nothing to fear. I've committed no sin. You, if your story is true, have only been protecting your brother. God's law understands such a loving gesture, even if man's law does not.
What are you knitting?
What are you knitting?
A shawl for my niece.
What does that mean, Narracott?
It's quite subdued for a girl, isn't it?
A man would say that, of course. She is a modest child, and decent. These colors are most appropriate.
Have you seen Rogers?
He's in the kitchen, I think, preparing a cold supper.
Tongue and gelatin? And that's not a joke, that is a meal in the stage show. Okay, we'll take another look around some more. Maybe talk to Rogers and see if there's anything else we can do. And then we will probably call it a night here, probably. Right, let's have a look in here. Hi, Rogers.
Hello, Rogers.
Hello, sir. Was there anything you required?
Just looking around. That ham looks good.
Mrs. Rogers had a way with hams.
Ah,
Baked, boiled, fried, pickled, en casserole. Always a treat.
when will dinner... Wow, Narracott, come on.
When will dinner be ready?
8 o'clock, sir. Or close to it.
Come on, give the guy some slack. His
Have
wife
you
just
noticed
died.
anything out of the ordinary since you arrived here, Rogers?
Just this, sir. This house is more like a museum than a residence. I've
Oh,
dusted every
okay.
square inch.
Yeah,
and
I've just
found
seen...
articles
Oh,
left
I
behind by
recognise that
many
bit now,
previous owners,
Storm.
including the Robsons, that actress, and even the Admiralty. The only owners who seem to have left no mark at all are Mr. and Mrs. Owen.
Good day to you, Mr. Rogers.
Hi, Miss Story. Hope you're doing all right. Lovely to see you. Yeah, we're playing And Then There Were None at the minute, which has already started to. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's just been chilling. Thought we'd have a nice chill game to play today. Okay, I don't know where the heck I'm going here. Okay, let's grab that. Again, adventure game rules. Take everything that's not nailed down, and if it is nailed down, solve the puzzle that will remove the nails. We're getting a load of items and I have no idea where to use any of them. Alright, I'm getting quite a bit lost here. Yeah, so we've got up to chapter 3, and I believe there's 9 chapters in this game. So we are making good progress, actually. What's that? A card.
This could use a closer look.
Empty promises. Dark memories haunting you. The fuel for pleasant thoughts must be found before all lie in ruins. UN Owen. Grab that. A hurricane lamp. What's that?
The generator seems to be working fine.
Okay. Yeah. I guess it might break a bit later. We're taking a bucket. A ladder. Where are you storing all this, Narracott? That bag is bigger than Lara Croft's. But yeah, I'm expecting to do at least one more stream of this. On Bank Holiday Monday, we'll do another stream of this because whether we finish it then or not remains to be seen. But I thought, you know what?
Maybe Owen has wings and is perched someplace we can't reach.
Or swimming around out there with the fish.
You think you'll find Owen?
If he's here, we'll find him.
Why don't you split up?
I suggested that.
The island isn't that big. I felt it was good to stick together to be sure every inch has been covered.
One got left behind.
Have you seen Vera?
Miss Claythorne was up on Ship Rock when we searched up there.
Okay.
Have you seen the General?
He was down on that little beach to the south of Ship Rock. He was definitely gaga, if you ask me.
Like he was in a trance, talking to his wife, asking her forgiveness. Creepy. He sent that Richmond fellow to his death for playing up to the missus. Make no mistake about that.
Yeah, so, if you're not familiar with them, then we're none. Every character in the story who's been brought to the island, with the exception of the character you're playing, has some dark past behind them that has resulted in the death of at least one person, and they've been brought here for penance, basically.
You look tired.
Miss Claythorne's concern for my well-being moves me far more than yours, Narracott. But thanks all the same.
Any conclusions?
Only that I'm damn glad I brought this along.
You have a gun? Why didn't you say something?
I would have used it if necessary.
Still, I don't like it very much.
Well, I don't care very much.
Should be able to catch you Monday. It's Memorial Day for us, so thankful for a 3-day weekend. Nice. We do have a 3-day weekend as well, but it's a bank holiday for us. So I thought, you know what? I don't normally do streams on a Monday afternoon. I thought, you know what? Why not?
Any idea how we can get off the island?
Well,
yeah, 3-day weekend's always good.
A friend of mine, actually. When he was in the army, he saw a new parachute design that allowed you to steer. If you like, I can draw you a plan to construct a parachute like the one he saw.
That would be splendid.
Thank you. 1 parachute per order.
It's pretty crude, but I think you'll get the idea.
Enchilada boys, hey Kappa Cow.
Materials too.
Thanks. That'll be all, Mr. Lombard.
Yes, 10 Echidna boys streamed online. 1 played this game, and then there were 9. I should have come up with a full rhyme of the, but, you know what, never mind. I see a board. I see board. Right, the general should be here. There he is. Nice peaceful spot you found for yourself.
Nice peaceful spot you found for yourself, sir.
There is so little time. So little time.
I'm making a tour of the island, so to speak.
I'm making a tour of the island, so to speak.
Quite the adventurer, aren't you?
Yes.
Have you seen anything that might be useful to us?
You don't understand. You don't understand at all. I'm not sorry I came here. No, it was time. I'm content at last. It feels very strange to come to the end, not have to go on. I know now I will never leave. That's peace. Real peace.
Good day to you, General.
Good day to you. Yeah, that was meant to be an exchange that was happening with him and Vera in the original one. Right, let's continue. Let's see if we can find Vera. She's probably not too far away from here, because she's meant to be on top of the rock, if I remember correctly what Lombard said. Why do I suddenly feel like I'm playing as Zelda? Hi!
It seems so close. As if I could almost jump across and leave this island behind me.
I'd hate for you to jump, Miss Claythorne. I'd miss you.
I think I'd miss you too.
Narracott, Patrick, you've known this woman for like, what, a night?
Think someone on shore could see us?
If they used a telescope like the one on the patio outside my room, I expect they might.
What, you mean the one I have in my pocket?
What do you think of Lombard?
I think he's like last night's storm. Dark and wild and possibly dangerous.
But you like him even so?
I love storms.
Have you ever been in love?
I thought I was. I thought I could do anything for him.
What happened? Oh, Curtis, hey, thank you very much for the raid. How did your stream go? What were you playing? Let me just give you... Hey, can you give Curtis a shout out here, if you're here? For those of you who don't know me, I'm NevByte, a retro variety streamer. We do older stuff, we do newer stuff. Today we've been trying something a little bit different. Agatha Christie, and Then There Were None, a adventure game based on the story of the same name. But yeah, welcome on in, Curtis. I hope Raiders have had a good time with Curtis, and I hope you've had a good time with me. Actually, you know what? While I'm here, I'll shout you out here. You're playing Super Metroid. Nice. Well, nice. How did that go?
What happened?
I'd rather not talk about it, if you don't mind.
Oh, no worries.
I'm sorry the job here didn't work out for you.
Yeah, we're talking to one of the...
I want to be a teacher, not a secretary. I want another chance to teach more than anything in the world.
But probably she can't because of what happened. If you're not familiar with And Then There Were None, for anyone who knew who just came in, if anyone who's new that's just came in, 10 people have been invited to an island and all have some dark past between them. Now, this lady here... The stream was okay, thanks. Need to get back to practicing the game more. Yeah, Super Metroid is a challenging one, let's say. But yeah, anyone who's new, so this character here is Vera Claythorne. She was a governess, and unfortunately a child in her care was lost trying to swim out to sea. She wasn't blamed for it, but she's been unable to find a teaching job, and actually started work as a secretary, and was brought here.
Tell me about her, sir.
Mr. Narracott, would you think me terribly rude if I just wanted to stand here and look at the scenery before the next storm closes in.
No, I'm sorry I bothered you.
Oh, you didn't bother me. Quite the contrary. But now I'd just like to enjoy the scenery.
So very kindly, piss off, thank you. Okay, so we've talked to them. Okay, what else do we need to... Right, okay. Yeah, this game does look really good. It's a classic, it's a... What do you say there? Seems to have their feet on the ground, pleasant to look at as well. I mean, fair. Fair. Okay, so... Who we talked to? We've talked to Rogers, we've talked to Armstrong, we've talked to Wargrave, and we think we talked to mostly everybody. So I'm just taking a tour of the island, so don't mind me. Ooh, what's that? We've got bees. A bumblebee stung one. Yeah, that's part of the nursery rhyme. So let's just save here, just in case anything goes wrong. Yeah, so this came out in 2005 on PC, and then made its way to the Wii in 2008. So yeah, it is that old. I'm just wandering aimlessly
Not
here.
many apples in this orchard. I suppose I'd blame the lack of sun.
Okay.
There are some suitable looking apples up near the top of this tree, but I can't reach them.
Okay, so I think we know the solution to that.
I won't do that.
Apparently you won't do that. We already
There are
have
some suitable
apples.
looking apples up near the top of this tree, but I can't reach them.
No, don't need a bucket. Ah! How do you manage to get basket of fermented apples and basket of fresh apples? Okay, so we can't take that again. I'm just wandering aimlessly here, don't mind me.
Goats. They look hungry.
Okay, so can we feed them the apples, maybe, the goats? Let's see if we can feed them.
I don't think that's appropriate.
Put that back. Get closer to them. He will do anything for love, but he won't do,
I won't do
that.
That isn't going to help.
Okay, so you can't give them to the goats, okay. Do we have any other food? Cheese?
That isn't such a good idea.
No. Flour?
Perhaps another time.
Nope. Okay, I haven't got anything on
This
the on
thicket
me.
is rife with thorns. I can't get through it.
Damn it! But what? Oh, another goat, another... Hi!
That goat is a menace.
Nev bringing Twitch Sing single-handedly, baby! Nice, yeah. Oh, I miss Twitch Sings. Okay, no, the goat is saying you shall not...
Goat is a menace.
That goat is a menace!
Sunflowers. Odd. It doesn't seem like this island gets much in the way of sun.
Okay, so I can't go much further there, so I can make my way back. So I can't pick up that stepladder again, so I guess that's what we were meant to do. Did we go this way before? No, we didn't.
It's an old windmill. Impossible to say what it powers, if anything.
Wait, where did that... Oh. So come that way from the cave. There's a cliff. a beach. And we've ended up back here.
That cliff is surely the highest point on the island.
Oh yeah, that's where Vera will be. Let's go back around here. Once we get back to the house, I think I'm gonna wrap up here, and oh, actually, before we do...
No, these rocks are too precarious to climb. I'd better stick to the path.
Is there anything we can do down here before we go back to the house?
Standing here isn't helping anything. Standing here isn't helping anything.
Okay, can't do anything there.
I can see the jetty from here.
Right, I think we've talked to
No one's hiding in there. I'd stake my reputation on it.
I've done some hunting in my day for some very elusive game. If Owen's in that house, he must be invisible.
Any luck?
Any luck at all?
There's no one on this island except our 9 selves.
Where haven't you searched?
The woodshed. I should have guessed he might be out there.
I've already looked in there, and there's nobody in there.
Have you reached any conclusions?
Maybe it was just an accident and a suicide. Or 2 accidents or 2 suicides for all I know.
Good day to you, Mr. Bloor.
Right, okay. Where are they going? Okay, you know what? That'll be a story for next time. So we're going to pick up this game again on Monday afternoon. And then we will see how far we get there. Will we finish it? Who knows? We'll find out from... Ooh, where's my avatar going? There we go. Okay, so let's wind down with some music. There we go. So, there is something we are going to do on Sunday, though, in our regular slot. We're going to be bringing Resident Evil Outbreak back. So, we're going to carry on with that on Sunday. And, as I said, on Monday, we're going to carry on with this and then the one on. Okay. So, do bear with me, though. Let's see who's on we can go and say hi to. Oh, you have a great evening too, Tori. You have a great evening too. Let's see. Who's on that's doing something remote? Probably not anyone doing anything similar to what we were doing. But... let's see who's on. No, don't worry, Curtis. You're absolutely fine. Been happy to see you. Right. Ah, well, I'm glad you came in as well with your folks. Let's see. Who haven't we raided in a while? How about... let's raid somebody new we haven't before. Let's go say hi to Biohazard Rain, who's doing some House Flipper 2. So yeah, there's my raid message. If you want to... same to you, Curtis, same to you. But yeah, if you want to use that yourself, thank you for everyone who came in. Oh, don't, she's raiding out. Okay, thanks for the warning. Thanks for the warning. Okay. So instead then, let's swerve to... oh, hello there. Hello there, Rain. Hi there. We were literally just about to come say hi to you. Well, lovely to see you anyway. I'll give you a quick shout out while I'm here. I'll tell you what. Let's go to... ow, oh god. I think... you know what? Let's go to somebody we haven't been to before. Let's go to Hope, who's doing a game called Wuthering Waves. It looks a bit like Genshin Impact, I suppose. Let's go try it. Let's go say hi to her. Thank you for everyone who came in and said hello. Again, I will be back on Sunday with Resident Evil Outbreak, and on Monday with more And Then There Were None. Have a pleasant night. Good night.